Okay guys, yesterday we did estimating a population proportion using confidence interval. Only difference today is we're gonna do population mean using confidence intervals. So instead of using z-scores like we did yesterday, it involves t-scores because we're doing mean. Anytime we're doing mean, it involves t-scores. Proportions always involve z-scores. So here we go. All right, works a lot like yesterday. Here's our confidence interval, how we're gonna do it. Since we're doing means, we're looking for mu, the population proportion, and we're gonna use x bar because that's the best point statistic that we have. X bar is the sample mean. So we're gonna use the sample mean to estimate the population mean. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna subtract the margin of error from it, and we're gonna add the margin of error to it, to the sample mean, to give us a confidence interval for our population mean. The margin of error is going to be calculated just like this. We're going to do the t-score. And notice that's alpha divided by 2, so what that tells you is whatever your confidence level is, whatever's left over, you got to divide that by 2 before you enter it into your calculator. S means sample standard deviation in a sample size, and it's going to ask you for degrees of freedom today when you're doing your t-score, and it's always n minus 1. Sample size minus 1. Hopefully you remember that. All right, one example here. It says listed below are speeds in miles per hour measured on a certain portion of highway. The speed limit for the road is 65 miles per hour using 95% confidence level. And it gave me all these, the sample. There are 12 speeds, 12 cars went by, and they clocked the speed of those cars and got those values. So I know we're doing sample mean and trying to estimate the population mean. So the first thing I did is I put them all in L1, did one var stats, and got my X bar. The sample mean is 60.7, and on that same screen I can also find my S, little s, which is sample standard deviation. So I need those two numbers before I can go anywhere else. So part A said find the margin of error. I'm following the formula here, and part A went ahead and worked it out for you, so it'll be a little quicker. I had to find this first. That's my t-score. So in your calculator, you go to second vars, and you're going to find inverse t. And it's going to ask you for the area. On this one, the area I used was 0.025 because I had to cut that 5% in half. And it asked me for degrees of freedom. My degrees of freedom was 11 because there's 12 numbers. My little s goes here. My sample size was 12. It goes there. I punched that straight in my calculator, and there's my error right there, 2.59. Actually, it would be 2.59 miles per hour. So to get my confidence interval for part B, I took my sample mean, which is 60.7. I subtracted my E, and I took that sample mean and I added the E. That's all I did. So my population mean is going to be between 58.1 miles per hour and 63.3 miles per hour. That's my confidence interval. So part C, the last part, you know what's going to come next. They're going to ask you to interpret it. So for part C, we're going to say we are 95% confident. Make sure you use the word confident that the true mean is between 58.1 and 63.3. And really, I probably should put MPH after both of those because that's what we're talking about, and those matter. All right, again, that's pretty short. Hope you remember doing that. If not, you're going to have 2 problems on a Google Doc today, just like that one. So if you need to go back and look at it, that is fine. Tomorrow we'll have our Google Meet, same time, same place. Thursday, you'll make your video. And Friday, a little algebra review. And you made it through another week with only 1 week to go. You're so close to getting there. Finish strong. Get it done. I'll see you tomorrow. Finish this up for me. See ya.